Hey everybody, Tom here, otherwise known as Scary Spikes, and welcome to another Star Citizen video. In today's video, we'll be talking about the top 5 best features in 3.13, currently being tested in the PTU. Before we get started though, a very special and heartfelt thank you to Top Hatter 1990, a relatively new and very active member of our community, very kind and generous to the people around him, and extremely supportive of myself as well as the community at large. Thank you, Top Hatter, for being a Gold VIP contributor and for being part of our community. Before we get started as well, please make sure to like the video if you find it helpful, make sure to subscribe if you're new, and to ring the bell to never miss a video in the future. Also, make sure to join us on stream live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern, as well as our Discord community where people are waiting to meet, chat, and play with you from all around the world, and it's truly an amazing community that you would love to be a part of. Links to both of those will be found in the description below. Without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. One of the coolest features of PTU at the moment is being able to see your ship names and serial numbers. If you remember, not too long ago we had waves going out of CIG allowing players to name certain ships in the game. One of those ships was the Mercury Star Runner from Crusader Industries. Unfortunately, there is a bug in PTU that is preventing us from actually being able to see our ship names, but we are able to see the serial numbers, which is really cool. In the future, this is something that's going to be worked out, I'm sure, by the time that the patch releases into the live servers, and it's sure to be a favorite among most citizens in the verse, as it will allow you to personalize your ships and make them truly unique. One of the frustrations that I had when I started playing in the PTU and testing out all the different features for 3.13 is that I was exploring a cave and I was getting shot at. Now, that is not a frustration in its own because, of course, that's a part of the game, but the thing that frustrated me was that I was unable to heal myself by pressing C as we're used to doing in 3.12.1. Well, that's because there have been a number of changes, and really good ones in my opinion, with regards to med and oxypens. Let me show you what I mean. So first of all, press F1 to get into your Mobiglass and go into your equipment manager. Once here, you'll notice that things look a little bit different, and I don't mean the mohawk sticking out of my helmet. Over on the left hand side, you'll notice a tab called MISC, and in this tab you have 2 slots for an med pen and 2 slots for an oxy pen. You can equip these here if you like, and of course you can equip only the med pens if you'd like. You don't have to equip the oxy pens if you don't want to, but it's important to note that you can equip only 2 med pens and 2 oxy pens max. If you choose not to equip your oxy pens, you cannot put med pens in their place, and vice versa. I think that that is something that we should be allowed to do, given that they're about the same size and they should take about the same inventory space, but I see why CIG did this, and it was so that there was sort of a necessity to replenish your supplies instead of just having 4 med pens laying around that you can quickly access. But I digress. The way that you're going to pull up your med pens now, as you can see, if we press C, we'll go ahead and pull one up. Now, we didn't take a shot as soon as we pressed C, and the reason for that will be explained in just a second, but basically you'll need to press the left mouse button in order to inject yourself, and then you'll be good to go. This extra step was a bit frustrating for me at first because in the heat of battle you really don't want to take any more time than you need to heal yourself, but this does make sense. You wouldn't be able to just auto-inject yourself in the heat of battle in the real world, and well, you can't do it here either, anymore at least. The other way that you can get to your med and oxy pens is by holding C. You're going to get this menu, and then you can go ahead and choose whether you would like an oxy pen or a med pen, and you can go ahead and let go of C. That will make sure that you are holding the pen of your choice, and then again, left mouse button will inject. Now, of course, once you have only one left, you won't have those options because there's just one, so you can go ahead and either hold it, or you can hold R to put it away, and just tap C and it will bring up your next available pen, whether that's a med pen or an oxy pen. If you want to prevent oxy pens from coming out by mistake when you hit C instead of holding it, you can go back into the equipment manager, click on MISC, and make sure that you only equip med pens. By doing so, you'll only be able to pull out a med pen, and you won't have to worry about pulling out an oxy pen, trying to heal yourself in the heat of battle while just getting yourself some oxygen. So if we go ahead and look at the menu now, we should be able to see med pens in both. And if we put it away in tap C, there's the med pen again. Good to go. One of the best features coming out in 3.13 has got to be the reputation system. Now, if you don't know, the reputation system is something that's going to allow you to get into gameplay loops of doing different types of missions and basically be rewarded for them and have a way to progress within the game. Now, of course, this is only the first iteration, and I'm sure that it will see updates and refinements as we go along, but let me show you the first iteration because it's honestly really cool, even if it's pretty basic. First of all, you'll want to make sure that you have your mobi-glass opened, and you want to go over to the very last button on the bottom and go ahead and click on that. Now, I know there's a lot going on here, so I'm going to explain everything by category and so that you understand exactly what you're looking at here. On the left-hand side, you'll start to see that we have some factions or organizations. These can be factions or organizations that you work for or with, and they'll start to show up here as soon as you start having your reputation change with them, either for the better or not so much. Now, I've been doing a lot of bounty hunting, so naturally I have the Bounty Hunters Guild here, and for this purpose, we'll use these guys for demonstration. Over here, you can see that there's a little bit of information that we need to get through, but before we do that, let's have a look at the top. We'll have the name of the guild, as well as some information about it, and of course, then we have the affinity. More on this in just a little bit later. Over on the right hand side here, we can click the X to get rid of the menu. We can also go ahead and click on the star to add these as one of our favorite reputations so that we can have quick access to them later on. Going over to the dossier, we can get a little bit more information and background about the guild, although I don't understand the need to have an add to favorite button there if you already have it here, especially since they don't seem to be linked. It's a bit strange. Over here, you'll get an idea of really what they are all about, as well as being able to see their logo or image. So if you're looking to get into some lore, this is a good way to get started. Again, I'm sure in the future this is something that we'll see a little bit of refinement, but this is what we have for the first iteration. Now, if we look down here, we'll see a number of different ranks. Now, -1 is obviously for if you're in the negatives of the particular organization or faction, but then we have a number of different ranks that you can climb. So this gives you a sense of purpose, and it gives you an idea of where you stand within a given rank, and also what benefits you may get as part of that rank, as well as being able to see what benefits you might get for ranking up with that organization or that faction in the future. What is affinity? Well, that's a very good question. Affinity is basically a negative and positive representation of your rep with the faction. Your ranks can be seen down here, but your ranks will include the affinity that you get. So the more affinity that you get, the higher your ranks will be, and the higher you can climb in the tree, getting more and more perks as you move along. Now, it is possible to be in the negatives for affinity, so it is possible to have negative reputation as well as positive reputation, meaning that if you have positive reputation, the organization or faction will like you and possibly offer you more work, whereas if you have the negative reputation, they will dislike you and will not offer you any work and might even send people after you. Of course, this is just speculation about something that might be included in the future, but given that a lot of these are security companies, you probably should stay on their good side, at least in the beginning. In any case, when you get to a certain affinity, your rank will raise over time and you'll start to climb the ladder and be able to get higher ranks and, of course, higher perks and benefits as a result of that. So this gives people a bit of a chance to have a gameplay loop that they can feel more involved and invested in, and it's almost like an achievement system, although not quite. I do hope that an achievement system does come out in the future, but for now, reputation is really cool. Now, there is also something else called confidence, which is something that you can have with individual contacts, which we'll see here in the contacts tab. So moving over to the contacts tab, you can see a very strange picture of Miles Eckhart, which is one of the guys that I'm working for at the moment. He has his own security company running out of Hurston, and I've been doing some missions for him. So again, We see a very common picture here where we can see the red and the green bar. So this is of course the affinity, and looks like we're just in the beginning stages of positive affinity with Miles, which is great. But what is confidence? Well, affinity is how much you do, and also the quality of whether you are doing something bad or something good towards that particular faction. And the confidence is not so much what you do, but how you do it. The confidence that someone has in you is based on your performance in a variety of different missions that you'll have from them, and really how well you do. Do you go out and absolutely murder everybody in your path? Well, that person's confidence may raise in you and they may offer you better contracts. Do you get destroyed constantly, run into asteroids, quit missions, or just Alt F4 because you want to rage quit? Well, maybe it'll go in the opposite direction and they won't offer you contracts that are as lucrative. I'm sure that it will be possible to be able to do a ton of missions for somebody, but then lose a little bit of affinity and quite a lot of confidence with them because you're not performing particularly well at a higher level. Again, this really adds a little bit more depth to the gameplay loop of doing any kind of mission, and for me specifically, I think it really adds a lot of value to doing any kind of bounty hunting missions because it gives me something to progress towards, even if it's a little arbitrary for now. But this is one of my favorite features, and I'm sure that you're going to like it as well once it drops within the next few weeks or so on the live servers. For those who prefer combat on the ground instead of in space, I'm bringing the Cyclone MT, and one of the coolest and probably most underrated things coming into 3.13 with the MT, the mounted gun. The mounted gun, as we can see here, is mountable on different types of vehicles, but of course it will also be mountable in fixed positions, which means if you build a base at some point in the future, you should be able to mount guns around your perimeter, or at least have pre-mounted guns there that you can use to defend yourself. This is going to open up a lot of gameplay loops for people who like ground combat and maybe not a huge fan of space combat. There's nothing cooler than getting into one of these cyclones, turning on your giant machine gun, and then just going absolutely ham on everybody in your way. This is definitely going to open up a lot of really cool gameplay loops, and I'm really looking forward to it. If any of you are also wondering how many Cyclone MTs can I fit into a Mercury Star Runner, the answer is 3. Now, all of those things were really cool, but honestly, I had to save the best for last, and I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about by now. If you are waiting with bated breath for 3.13 and haven't had a chance to play in the PTU, then don't worry, it is coming very soon, probably in the next few weeks. But of course, I am talking about ship-to-ship docking. Ship-to-ship docking is something that we've all been waiting for quite a long period of time, and now it will be available on the Constellation lineup of ships, as well as the Hammerhead when ship-to-station docking becomes a thing later on in the year. Now, ship-to-ship docking is going to be completely exclusive with the Andromeda series of ships, so that means basically the Aquila, the Phoenix, and the Andromeda. Now, unfortunately, we don't know enough about the Taurus at the moment. I don't know if there's any speculation out there to say whether it is going to have a snub fighter as well, as it will be mostly a cargo ship. But basically, you'll be able to use the P-52 Merlin on the Aquila and the Andromeda seen behind me, as well as the upgraded P-72 Archimedes on the luxury variant, the Phoenix. Make sure to keep an eye out for a how-to video, which will fully explain how to manually and automatically dock your snub fighter with your Constellation series ship. That will be coming as soon as it becomes live on the live servers. Thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please make sure to let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you're new, and ringing the bell so that you never miss a video in the future. Please also make sure to join us on Twitch live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern, as well as our amazing Discord community. Links for those can be found in the description below. And if you haven't already, make sure to go over to sspgaming.com and check out some of the amazing merch that I have there if you'd like to help support me, the channel, the stream, and of course, the community as a whole. And no matter which way you choose to support me, I want you to know that I am very grateful for all the support and amazing, warm reception that I've received over these last several months that I've been working on these videos, as well as the stream and the Discord server. So thank you to all of you for your amazing support. Well, that's going to do it for me today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.